But also Henry is not showing up, so not yet. I'm sure he will.
Oh, no.
But we're currently in France in 17 something. 64. So he's not about to show up.
Is she back in her hometown?
She just found the grave of what's her face? Estelle.
Yeah.
And like her parents and everybody, but we don't really care about them, do we?
If you say so.
Not as much as about Estelle. Ooh.
Oh.
Liz just showed up.
Who?
Liz.
Ah.
I keep calling him Liz.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
It's from Lucifer. Or Lucia's first, so both of them is Luce. So. Also, I don't like the name Luke.
Fair enough.
I like this part. How does the ceiling there in the church right now? And she goes like, how does the ceiling bring you closer to heaven? If God is so large, why build walls to hold him in? Good question.
Good question. We just skipped to like 20 years ago. So now it's like the mother's story.
Okay.
The moment that she met the dad.
It's interesting.
I just started, like they just started talking. So I'm not sure yet, but probably. I hope so.
Well, we all do.
How's yours? Are they still in France?
No, we're back in 2014 in New York.
Oh no, you know what that means.
Henry. Yeah. I mean, just now we skipped to. We were in France. Where were we? Yeah, we were in France in 1778 before, and like he showed her a soul. I was like, if you want to know what the soul really looks like, I can take yours, and then you'll see it.
How about no?
Yeah, how about no? So yeah, now we're back in 2014 with Henry, and once again he's deciding that she does not have enough time to watch a movie twice.
Ugh.
she's literally immortal, dude. Like, what the fuck?
But
First of all,
he doesn't know
it's
that yet,
not
right?
your decision.
Does he know? Has she
I
told
mean,
him?
he's seen her in all the paintings and things that she inspired
Oh, okay.
from like the last 300 years. So
But
he must know that she has some time on her hands.
he could be really stupid though.
He is. I'm not doubting that, but like he does know that that's her and that has been going on. And she did tell him when she was born and everything. So he knows that she's 300 years old. So even if she's not immortal, it's like, okay, you've seen enough that you have the time to watch a movie twice. Even if she only had 20 years to live in total, if she wants to watch a movie twice, that is her decision and none of his business. But he's like, oh no, you've seen the ice cream factory before. I want to show you something here.
But like maybe he's projecting.
He is definitely projecting, but next he'll be projecting his mommy issues onto him.
Well, she does have mommy issues, so.
I mean, she does. She doesn't need his in addition to those, though.
No, she's fine with just hers.
Yeah, there's enough to work on there, which she has not been doing in the last 300 years.
Well, she hasn't been doing anything in the past 300 years.
Yeah,
We've
how does
established
that
this.
happen? How do you live 300 years and just you don't do anything? There's
You don't become the villain.
no growth. Yes, first of all, how would you ever survive 300 years in our society, in the societies we had for the last 300 years as a woman, and not become the villain?
Like not take full advantage of people forgetting you.
Also, where is her anger? Like
True.
I don't ever feel her anger coming through.
She's very numb.
And she's lived as a woman for the last 300 years. She should be at the brink of exploding at every moment. And that's why she would become the villain.
True. She would just go up in a ball of flames.
Every time an old white dude steps in her way, she'd just be like, yeah, you're gonna die now. And it doesn't matter because I can just run around the corner and no one will remember that I was the one who slit your throat. So
This became very dark very quickly.
see, imagine if I had been living in our society for 300
Oh
years.
boy.
This would have been even quicker. So yeah, I don't quite understand her.
Oh, you still have a little bit to go.
Oh, yeah, it's okay.
Maybe things will become clearer. Although,
She'll make more
don't
sense.
hold out too much hope.
I have what, like 150 pages, 170 pages left. But I just really don't understand how she's basically the same person that she was when she made the deal.
Naive and innocent and
So unsure of everything.
yeah, always making herself smaller.
Yeah. And
instead of
not
taking up
adapting
space.
at all.
Well, will food wake you up?
Are you hungry?
Not necessarily. I'm not starving. Or open a window.
Yes, we could. Further on the Midland.
I mean, we can stop reading if you want to stop reading. If you don't want to stop reading, we
I
don't
want
have
to be awake and to keep reading. That has been an issue before.
people screaming at random.
Oh no, I'm ignoring people screaming. I work in the city. No, she's listing like the languages that she speaks, and she's mentioned languages before, and then she goes French, of course, and English, Greek, and Latin, German, Italian, Spanish, Swiss. What the fuck is Swiss? There is no Swiss language. Which Swiss does she mean? Does she mean Swiss German? Does she mean Swiss French? Because our French is different than the France French. Does she mean Romansh? Because it's not called Swiss. It has a name. Does she mean Swiss Italian? I don't know how much our Italian differentiates from the Italy Italian, but I'm pretty sure it does. Like,
That's like when people say, "Do you speak Belgian?"
yeah, exactly. Like,
It's either
come on.
Dutch or French.
It's only like 7 languages. Make sure they all exist. And she's mentioned this. I marked it the first time she said it. I put like a little note that says, "What the fuck is this supposed to be?" There is no Swiss.
Also, why would you pick up ancient Greek?
Yes, I was wondering that too. What's the benefit?
Who has she been talking to in ancient Greek?
Yeah, what's the point? Read books that are not ancient Greek. It's not like there weren't any books in other languages around 300 years ago. Also Latin. Why?
I mean, you can study Latin in like secondary school in Belgium.
Yeah,
but that's
you can do
most
that here too, but
that's mostly like a study choice because you want to then probably study medicine or something.
here until about wait, how many years ago did I start my university course? Like almost a decade. Oh my god, I am old. So more or less until a decade ago, you had to learn Latin to study languages like Roman languages like English, which is
Oh, really?
yeah. So I had to. I mean, I didn't finish my university, so I never finished studying Latin, but I did start because I had to. I don't think it's mandatory anymore now.
Okay.
But there's no real life benefit to.
It's not a language
learning
you would just
Latin.
pick up
No,
at random.
no, unless you're an extreme nerd, and she clearly is not because no.
Like you pick up languages because you end up in a country and you're like, okay,
You're confronted with the language, and you like.
if I want to get anything done here, I'll have to like at
so
least
it
learn
makes
something.
perfect sense that she speaks German, Italian, Spanish, and
French, yeah.
modern Greek.
Yeah.
Maybe, sure, why not? French, obviously, because I mean she was born in France, so clearly she speaks French. Portuguese makes sense as well. If she ever went to Portugal or to live in Portugal for a while, it would make sense for her to have any Scandinavian languages if she ever went north in Europe. But why Latin?
Yeah.
It's not like she was around with the Romans.
No. Yeah, I didn't never got that either.
Just to make her fancy.
Probably.
And Swiss, of course. Like
Yeah.
we can't forget Swiss. That's very important. She probably speaks Belgian as well.
Yeah, probably.
Also, he says you would have made an amazing spy.
Doubt
Clearly
it.
not.
Or she never even thought about it.
She's like, who says I haven't been one? Yeah, right. Okay. This is why they're not villains. Come on. Like they're in a restaurant and she's like, okay, let's just go. Because she's pretty sure by the time he'll clear the table, the way he clears the table, that he'll forget that they were even there. So they don't actually have to pay. And Henry's like, no, he won't remember you, but he'll remember me. I'm not invisible, Addie. First of all, what an asshole. Choice of words, boy. Um, and then he goes like, you know what I mean. I can't just come and go, and even if I could, it would still be wrong.
Yeah, well, he hasn't been around that long.
Yeah, but
Like maybe
that's true. He does not have the 300 years to numb him to what's proper. Maybe.
yeah, what's right and wrong becomes like sort of a gray area after 300 years, I feel.
Especially if you have absolutely no way of making money.
Mm-hmm. Well, she has ways of making money. She just doesn't. She could rob a bank and she'd be filthy rich.
Yeah, no. If we're discussing you need money to pay for your dinner because it would be wrong to eat dinner without paying, I'm pretty sure making money and robbing a bank would also count as wrong.
True.
Unless you go like, okay, if I'm robbing a bank, I'm robbing, I take from the bank itself and not from the people, the money of the people are insured or whatever. And if you eat at a small restaurant and you don't pay for your food, they are directly
I was
affected
thinking
by your
that far.
choice. You were just like,
I was like, rob a bank. Get
I'm
rich.
still so disappointed that she did not become some sort of Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry just bores me.
Also, there is no like, what's the word? Like they're supposed to like fall in love, but there is no chemistry there.
None at all, no.
Because
literally the only reason why they're in love, if we want to call it that, is because they're like the only one of their kind, basically. Like it's as if you live among another species and then you find another one of your species.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, it's you then, because you're my only option.
Exactly. He's the only person who remembers.
Yeah.
And she's the only person who doesn't get shimmered.
Yeah. So really, they're just the only options.
The problem is it would work if they had a personality.
Only they had that.
But they've sort of become
they've become their circumstance. Yeah. Just that's the only thing about them, right?
Which is very sad in a way.
Yeah.
I don't think she did that on purpose though.
Probably not. Probably not. In a way, I would understand for him to maybe not have a personality as of yet, because it's only been a few years that he's been living with the curse.
He should be having a personality before that. He is human.
Clearly he didn't. I mean, she tries to give him a personality, right? With the whole he's being impatient and running out of time and everything, and pressed and anxious and everything.
That's not a personality though.
Yeah, true.
Like, what are his interests? Where did he grow up? Like, what did he want to become when he was little?
A rabbi?
I'm not guessing he wanted to like work in a secondhand bookshop. That sort of happened. Now
And
he's
then he
just
stays
staying
there.
there.
And he's all like, oh, I'm too impatient because my time's running out, but I'm staying at the secondhand bookstore where nothing happens. It makes no sense. It still bothers me. It makes no sense.
So yeah,
Yeah, and she's just not
they're very
300 years of tumbling around, and she's just not found the personality along the way. So,
they're just very two-dimensional, I think. They are just their deal.
yeah. Yeah, it feels a bit like she was like, oh, this is so awesome, deal with the devil. And then we make the two different kinds of deals. And then she forgot that the person also needs to be a person. Mm. Also, then her reaction, I mean, I get the reaction that she then feels ashamed for like her past when she was hungry and she had to steal things and everything. I get that you can fall into shame, but still, what I want to see is anger. You know, like point out. I don't know. Is it privilege? Yeah, he's privileged to be remembered, to be held accountable for when he's not paying, to be able to actually make money to pay for food.
I think the biggest problem is that he doesn't really care that she's invisible.
He doesn't so far, no.
There is no um
More like a quirky detail.
yeah, it's like, oh, you're invisible, cool.
Cool. Everybody
I'm
loves
not.
me.
So you have to pay attention to me because I'm not invisible. So if
I
you
mean,
leave
he's a
this
man,
restaurant,
so that-
they'll remember me.
yes.
So the fact that you're invisible doesn't matter. It only matters that I'm not. So I might get into trouble. Oh, you've lived for 300 years and been raped and stuff? Well,
That sucks to be you, huh?
that seems
Too
like a
bad.
you
But
problem.
no, my mom doesn't truly love me. She's
And
like, yeah, mine too. Like, yeah, but she died like 300 years ago.
also, everyone likes me.
Yeah. But then she goes into shame instead of anger. And I'm like, girl, get angry. Put him in his place. But she just doesn't. She just goes fine and pays for the food. And then he asks where she got the money from. Like,
Where do you think I got the money
yeah,
from?
pick a line, boy.
Also, you pay for the food, asshole.
Since everybody remembers you, make them buy the books you sell and then pay for all the food. Oh my god, she goes like, does it matter? Because obviously it's all stolen somehow. But she doesn't want to say that. And then she goes, does it matter? And he says, and Henry says, yes, with so much conviction, she blushes crimson. The audacity of the boy. What does he think she's doing? Like she has an office job on the side where no one remembers her? Does he ever,
She's obviously a lawyer.
did he ever wonder what, he knows that she doesn't have a home and she doesn't have any things. What, does he not pay any thought to what her life looks like outside of
That's
the
exactly
time she spends with him?
that's exactly what I'm saying. He doesn't care about her.
The audacity.
The only thing he cares about is that he finally found someone who doesn't necessarily like him because of the curse.
No, she likes him because he is her only option. That's much better.
That doesn't matter to him.
No, because
She
he's not
doesn't matter
realized
to
that
him.
thing. No, she doesn't seem to.
Like he doesn't care about her at all. Because otherwise,
Oh my god, I just read on.
what?
It's not getting any better.
Oh no.
She goes like, do you think I want to live like this? And no job, no ties, no way to hold on to anyone or anything. Do you think I like being so alone? And then the boy goes, you aren't alone, you have me.
Oh, barf.
She met you a week ago. Ugh.
Yeah, and well, fat load of good that is. Oh, you have me, but I don't really care about you.
But yeah,
But
just
you have
be
me.
here and love me because my mom doesn't do that.
And everyone else gets shimmered whenever they look at
Yeah.
me. I want to know if you get pissed at me, that at least it's real.
Yeah, finally she gets angry though. I'm a person, not a pet, Henry. Yes, bitch.
This is kind of sad though. Her only options are like idiot and demon.
Yeah, true. I'm still on the side of the demon though. At least he's honest.
Oh, I will forever be on
Like,
the side of the demon because
not
no
as
chance in
much an
hell.
idiot as this guy.
There is no chance in hell of me actually liking Henry.
Oh, barf again.
Oh no.
Oh, she gets at him like, I'm a person, not a pet, Henry, and I don't need you looking down on me or coddling me either. I do what I have to do, and it's not always nice, and it's not always fair, but it is how I survive. Which, valid, yes.
Yes.
Finally, tell him. I'm sorry you disapprove, but this is who I am. This is what works for me. And then he
Oh,
goes,
no.
shakes his head and says, but it won't work for us. Fuck you. How fucking dare you? How do you go into a girl's life that has been literally 300 years long?
And
go
after
like,
a week,
it's ours now. Okay, I claim this.
after
Oh
a
my
week.
God, after a fucking week.
Wow.
Oh,
The audacity.
yes. The fuck is wrong with you, Henry?
Well, I hate
Everything, also the mommy issues.
I hate to say it, but
I
he's
love-
still a guy.
And the white one of that.
Is he? I
Is
can't
he not?
remember.
I'm assuming he's got brown eyes and brown hair and he's Jewish.
Oh,
So I was assuming.
I forgot about that. Well,
Ugh, no. I'm sorry.
are we just hitting a low point?
Yes, we are. Because she's angry and then she leaves, and then and somewhere between one step and the next, the anger evaporates and she just feels tired and sad. No, fuck, stay angry. She doesn't understand how the night went sideways. I think it has something to do with the boy. No. I don't think you're gonna get any further in your book because we have things to do.
It's okay. I'm just like in the beginning of a new chapter,
Good,
so it doesn't
good, 'cause
matter.
You need to take a break there because
Okay,
she goes
go.
on. She doesn't understand how the night went sideways, doesn't understand the sudden weight on her chest until she realizes what it is. Fear. Fear that she messed up, thrown away that one thing she always wanted. Fear that it was that fragile, that it came apart so easily. Literally, she's like, this was my only solution. I might have messed it up. How sad is that?
Honey, learn to love yourself.
Yes, you had 300 years to try. Come on. It takes us all a while, but
We are
300 years.
we are not settling for
Oh,
sad
no,
puppy
he's running
boy.
after her.
Please trip and fall onto your face. Oh, the despair.
But then she hears footsteps, feels
No.
Henry coming up beside her. He
No.
doesn't say anything, only walks half a step behind. And this is a new kind of silence, the silent aftermath of storms, the damage not yet tallied. Addie wipes a tear from her cheek. Did I ruin it? Ruin what? He asks. Us. A week, guys. A week. Addie, he grabs her shoulder. She turns, expecting to see his face streaked with anger, but it's steady, smooth. It was just a fight. It's not the end of the world. It's certainly not the end of us. What the fuck? 300 years she dreamed of this. A mediocre dude going, it's okay, I forgive you for all my faults.
This is basically just settling for anything.
Yes, really. The bar is on the floor and she's like, oh my God, should I lower it? I was okay.
No, it's fine.
She goes like, then he's, you're incredible and strong and stubborn and brilliant. We have literally seen none of that.
Also, that wasn't what he was thinking like 5 minutes ago.
Like 2 fucking seconds ago. No, not at all. That was the idea of who Addie should be.
Yeah.
But that's not how she was written at all.
That's who
she is incredible by circumstance. She is strong if you count resilient as strong. Like she's not given up her soul yet, but that's like the base that she made not much further. Stubborn, where? And brilliant, debatable. Because again, 300 years and she's not adapted.
Yeah, that's what we wanted her to be.
Yeah. That was the idea in the beginning. Just did not turn out that way. Can we note how he never once apologizes for calling her invisible?
Oh.
Or judging her for living her life the only way she will survive?
Well,
he just goes, oh, tell me more of your stories to distract her that he's been an asshole and he did not apologize.
Yeah.
Classy dude. Very
That's
classy.
also because he doesn't realize what an asshole he's been.
It's not his fault. Really,
it never
fault
is.
Because she was worried that she ruined it.
Oh, yeah.
And she was given the reassurance that it's fine. It's totally fine.
She didn't ruin.
You didn't ruin it. Don't
them.
worry, I forgive you.
The us is still intact.
Oh no.
I'm 2 sentences further.
Oh, but come on. They're like talking about how she went back to Paris. Like he's distracting her by having her tell him more of her story.
Because in all the pages you already read, they couldn't have just included that. She has to say it now.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit info dumpy.
Yeah. Ugh, no. Okay.
Okay, we're moving on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you're getting a break now because we went back to Italy in 1806. Henry was not there, so.
Good. Maybe Lucas.
Maybe. Lucas? That's not his name.
Luke was.
Luke was. Like Lucas? That's
Lucas?
not his name. I mean, we're hoping. He's more interesting than Henry.
By a long shot.
Not that hard, though.
No. Yes. Mine is very good so far. Oh no. So our main character is figuring out very slowly that she's actually gay. And she found a book at like a local, like sort of, I want to say like a pharmacy, but not really. It's like you can't buy food, but you can buy like other basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like pads and tampons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But also they have
like
yeah, I guess. And they have like 2 racks of books, paperbacks. And she always used to like sort of go through them, see if they had anything interesting. And one day she was like going through the romance novels, and she found one about two women. And that was sort of like her sexual
She's like,
awakening. Oh,
let's
yeah.
see.
And now she, like, there's this girl in her class, and she's sort of expecting her to also kind of swing that way, but that hasn't like been very clear yet. It's like she's thinking this based on some things that she said. So now she took that girl to that shop to show her the book because she's been reading it while hiding between the racks of stuff. Like she's been going back there time and time again to read the book. And now she wants to show that girl the book, sort of as like an icebreaker to like broach the topic of, hey, I think I'm gay. But the book is gone. And so now she has the choice to say what the book was about or just lie, make something up. And she decides to say the book was about two women who fell in love. Have you ever heard about such a thing? Like the other girl is like very flustered. And then the last sentence of like that part is like, finally, Kath said one soft word. Yes. Aww. And I'm like, oh, fuck you. Yes, fall in love. Please make me feel comfy.
We want butterflies in our stomachs. Yes. Not just rage.
But like also in the meantime, so this our main character Lily is from like Chinese American descent. Like her mother was born in America, but her father was born in Shanghai and then came to America to study medicine, to become a doctor. And then apparently they stayed. Or like he stayed and they got married and then had children. But now there's like it takes place in like the early 50s, I think. I keep forgetting.
I think 50s.
Yeah, 1954. So there's been like a big thing in the US where they track down especially Chinese communists. And they think they are, or like the FBI is like tracking a communist party of young people, Chinese people. And they've taken away her father's papers, like his documentation, because he won't give them information on one of his patients, which the FBI suspects that he might have links to the Communist Party. So now her father doesn't have any documentation that he is in the US legally. So if they wanted to deport him, that would be very easy. But yeah, she was born in the US and her mother was born in the US. But now suddenly they're risking like losing her dad, and maybe they'll all have to like, or they'll all get deported along with him. That's like the background. And then the foreground is her like coming to terms with the fact that she may be gay.
Okay. That's really cute.
So
in like
there's
a very
like
serious setting.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, on page 94 now, a lot has happened. Yeah.
That's cool.
They actually have a personality.
Oh, who would have thought?
Can you believe? She still hasn't really accepted like that she might be a lesbian. So she's telling Kath more about the book. They kissed each other, she reported, and saying it out loud was thrilling. It made her blush. And yet she couldn't say the word the book had used to describe those kinds of girls, lesbian. The word felt dangerous and also powerful, as if uttering it would summon someone or something, a policeman, to arrest them for saying that word, or even worse, a real life lesbian herself. So she's not there yet, but
She's good. She's
Progress,
getting there.
progress.
She's good.
Progress,
She's getting there.
progress.
She's getting there. That's good. What would Addie's story have been like if she wasn't pretty?
I don't know.
Like somehow she's attracting all these people because of the freckles in her face and because she's good looking, right? Not because she has like the confidence or the charisma. What's the word? Charisma.
Yeah,
Right?
charisma.
Charisma. That's how you pronounce it in English. You know, to attract them. She doesn't send out those vibes. So it must be purely because she's pretty.
Which makes it very easy, maybe too easy. Maybe that's why she hasn't learned anything, because things sort of just happen to her.
But it's also so boring.
Yeah, well, it makes for a boring story. Like maybe if she hadn't been like conventionally attractive, maybe she would have learned more to operate from the shadows and not rely on other people to solve her problems for her.
She's also not really doing that. Just sort of not doing anything at all.
No, but like something happens and then the people around her sort of, I don't know, start swirling around her like moths to a flame, it seems, and the problem resolves itself.
And like she's inspiring these artists so that she is in the paintings and everything, but she does not do that with her personality.
But then how does she do it? Does it say?
Well, here
it sort of just happens.
It sort of just happened. Here she's in Venice in 1806, and she wakes up in this in Matteo's bed, this painter.
I remember Matteo.
And he's like not phased at all that there's a stranger in her bed that he doesn't remember. He just starts to draw her, and she's like, I'm not shy about my body. I'm not covering up. You can paint anything. But like she only got into that bed because she's pretty.
I don't know.
There must not be. I wonder if there was any real interest in her as the person, because
but
she shows no.
But how does
personality or self-confidence to attract people at all.
But like, how does that usually go? Because she doesn't really have time to. I mean, she doesn't have a personality. Let's start there. But she also doesn't have the time to like give people the opportunity to get to know her and her personality that doesn't exist.
Yeah, but then you would have to have like exceptional charisma, right? Where you like, you enter the room and people notice that you entered the room because of the way you. Is it the energies you give off? Because of the way you hold yourself, behave and stuff.
Is that not part of her curse? I don't know.
It's not been mentioned. It's just been mentioned that she's get freedom and she's forgotten. That will be his curse, right? That will be Henry.
Yeah, true.
He gets that automatically, but she doesn't. And still, everyone sees her. Everyone is like flocking to her for no reason.
Immediately enamored by her.
Yeah, and she does nothing at all to do. She's like the main character who is like, oh, I'm the wallflower and the quirky one, but still everyone's in love with me.
Yeah. I don't have an explanation for that. I don't think anyone has an explanation for that.
Are you hungry yet?
Are you? Do you want to make food? Good.
What do you want?
Were we going to do the peanutty thing?
Yes. With rice?
Yes. Okay. We should probably like pause this thing then, because it won't make sense if no one's here.
Kind of forgot that this is good.